welcome to Ikate's Crossing. Okay, so I've been sharing the new Mythic Tarot, and I sort of thought this sort of came up as I was sort of reading through the book, which I thought was absolutely excellent here in what the tarot can and cannot do, reading the cards. And I want to share this with you. So this is the new Mythic Tarot. Juliet, Sharman-Burke and Liz Greene, with cards illustrated by Giovanni Caselli. Okay, so Liz Greene, absolutely fantastic within the tarot world, for sure, with lots of different decks, books, etc. So, what the tarot can and cannot do, reading the cards. Now, I wanted to share this with you because I thought this was absolutely excellent. The tarot cards cannot predict a fixed and fated future. It's the reader that does that, not the tarot cards. It is the reader that may or may not do that, depending on what type of reader they are. Okay, so tarot cards cannot predict a fixed and fated future. They are a series of images that describe the qualities of the moment when an individual consults them with a particular problem or situation in mind. The Greeks call it kairos, the right moment, which describes the idea that every moment in time possesses peculiar and unique characteristics and qualities. We must dispense with our typical 20th century Western view of time in order to understand what the tarot cards really do, and look instead towards ancient philosophy and the beliefs of the East, where time is seen not in terms of quantity. A moment is a measurement, 1/60th of an hour, for example, but in terms of quality. A moment is a living thing, possessing its own identity and meaning. Seen through the lens of this worldview, life possesses an underlying and secret connectedness. Our relatedness and all levels of life, animate and inanimate, conscious and unconscious, inner and outer, are really part of a living whole. Therefore, life will reflect on all the levels of its existence, the same qualities in a given moment. Thus, the ancient methods of divination, such as astrology, the tarot, and the I Ching, do not seek to predict an already written future, but concern themselves instead with how the true inner quality and meaning of the moment might be reflected and deciphered through symbolic forms such as planets, coins, or cards. This is a difficult concept for the Western mind to grasp, but if we attempt it, it will help us to clarify an issue about which there is much misunderstanding among students of the tarot. Not only does a moment have a particular qualities, but it has a past and a future that belong under the general umbrella of those qualities. There are situations and choices in the past which have led up to that moment, and of which that moment is a consequence, and there are situations and choices in the future that spring directly from our response to that moment, and are in turn affected by our present choices. Therefore, it makes sense to understand all we can about how we landed ourselves in a particular situation. For this understanding will in turn affect how we respond to life and what the next moment will bring. Over the situations and choices which pertain to a given moment hangs a particular archetypal meaning, for there is nothing we do or experience that has not been done or experienced before, and it is this meaning that the tarot cards can reveal. The past, present, and future that are implied in a particular tarot card reading tend to express a period of around 6 months. Thus, the moment which we have been considering as a period of time, including the past, that is, the choices, motives, and experiences, which have led to it, the present, when the cards are consulted, and the future, which is the natural outgrowth of the forces at work in the present. The cards do not describe concrete events in a fated way, but instead illustrate influences and opportunities and hidden motives, some of which may or may not crystallize in external events or people, which the individual may then try to understand and work with in as creative a way as possible. Because it is the quality of the moment which is described, the individual can, by seeking to penetrate to the deeper meaning of the moment, cast a more conscious influence on the future of that moment, thus affecting with increased awareness the future that is unfolding. In this sense, we create our own fates, or rather what we are fates or affects our future. Fate to the Greeks was not a random and capricious selection of events which happened to a person, but rather a complex and infinite web of choices and responses and consequences extending throughout time, back into the past and forward into the future, most of which remained unconscious unless the individual sought to bring deeper awareness to his or her inner life. Because the fate which the tarot cards describe is largely rooted in the unconscious, we do not ordinarily have access to it, but the images of the tarot cards can help us to make a connection with it, and therefore the cards reflect back to us the priori knowledge of the unconscious, which holds the secret key to the meaning of the moment, and therefore knows the probable future outcome of that moment. By reading the tarot cards, one can receive Lex patterns and movements of the unconscious in this new relationship between conscious ego and the hidden inner world, allows us to bring to the moment and therefore to our situation in the moment a deeper insight and greater possibilities of response and choice. Okay, so it's really important with that thought in your mind. Go back and re-listen to it if you need to. I know that's quite a lot. Best thing to do would be to, if you've got the new Mythic Tarot, is actually read it. If you've got the new Mythic Tarot, actually go back and read that passage. I think that's really important. Next thing to do is make a relationship with the cards. Okay, once you've made a relationship with the cards, then you lay out a spread. And once you've laid out the spread, you then look at the cards and see how they connect, and create a reading, either for yourself or for someone else. And what spread do you choose to do? There are lots and lots of spreads out there. In the book, they do have the Celtic cross, and they do have a planetary spread, which is based on the planets, which is interesting. And then there's a space that you could use for your own readings if you wish to use the book for that. But I think it would be quite good to use that as a guide and actually type it up on the computer. It's got date, reading for, situation, spread use, card positions, and overall analysis. Quite cool. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just to shuffle the cards. And what card are we going to reflect on today? Let's have a look. What are we going to reflect on today? What's important for us to reflect on today? We're going to use this moment to reflect on a message. Okay, reflecting on a message. And we can look at the cards deeper if you wish to, but let's just have a moment. Let's just have a look here. A quick message. Okay, the first card we've got is Queen of Cups. So this is about nurturing our emotions. Maybe we're emotionally hurt and we are sort of wearing our emotions on our sleeve. We're sort of quite open to our emotions at this time. Feels like everything's sort of coming together in some way as we move forward on our journey. So it does feel like that we're quite emotionally, everything's sort of coming together, And that's allowing us to sort of move forward quite with a lot of passion, a lot of creativity, a lot of desires in our lives, is sort of bringing us forward on our journey here as we're dealing with the sense of sort of coming together, the sense of unity, a sense of wholeness within our own emotions as well. As we nurture, we're compassionate, could be compassionate with someone else. And so there is that sense of a unity coming together, completeness with a partner on some way, and as we're moving together here. Okay, so that's it from me for today. Don't forget to check the links down below. Check the links on my channel. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you know when the next video will be uploaded. Take care. Blessed be.